I'm going to start by giving you a little introduction to the Busang tool to give you an overview. And of course, if you're not using the Busang tool, you can skip this part. But I think it will, even if you are programming your own test automation framework, it could be useful to take a look at our tool. There might be some inspiration for you there. Anyways, what you want to do is, if you haven't signed up, you want to go to busang.com and basically just hit the link here for free trial. That will give you plenty of time to go through this tutorial and do all the moments throughout this exercise. But if you've already done that, of course, you'll go to ai.busang.com and log in. And when you log in, you're going to see your product dashboard. So we're going to go ahead. Of course, I have a lot of projects here, but we're going to go ahead and create a project called the lab. And we're going to submit this, and then we're just going to simply hit the launch button, right? What's going to happen now, if you're launching this in Chrome, which I recommend, is that it's going to suggest for you to install the Busang AI extension. So one thing I recommend is either installing this in incognito mode. So you'll go into settings and allowing to run in incognito mode. And the only reason is if you have a lot of other extensions that might conflict with Busang. I know, for instance, that Grammarly slows down Busang a lot, so perhaps that would be a good thing to disable if you're not running in incognito mode. Another thing that can cause some disturbance to Busang would be an ad blocker, okay? But the best thing, of course, is to run Busang only when you do this automation. Okay, so as soon as you come into the project, you get thrown into settings, environment, and here there's a lot of stuff you can do. You could add environments such as a production environment, a staging environment, support different application interfaces in more complex setups. Don't worry about that for now. What we'll do now is simply type into root URL and type in the lab.busang.com, and then we'll basically just click save here. So you leave the slash in default app root, and there we go. Then it's going to suggest you directly to create a module, okay? The module is not going to be super important for you in this very, very small example, but the module should correspond to a functional area of your code. So for instance, in an e-commerce application, you would have a module that would be cart or checkout or navigation. So I'm just going to go ahead and create a navigation module here, very simply, just to illustrate. The alias here, you can leave it blank. It's only for our AI engine to do some magic stuff that we're not touching in this tutorial. After you created a module, right, then you need to create one or many tests inside the module. And of course, this is really handy. Imagine that you have a normal setup, right? There's hundreds and hundreds of tests. Then it's pretty good to have modules and even sub-modules in the setup to be able to sort and to get an understanding of the logic of your tests, okay? So I'm going to call this navigate left menu. And we're just going to go ahead and I'm going to just simply click submit here. And as you can see, it's defaulting to this slash URL. So it's the root URL plus that URL where we're standing. A little note here would be, if you have two screens, you will put our tool, right, the Busang tool on one screen. And then you would put the application on the other screen. I'm actually just recording this video on my laptop, right? So I only have one screen. So what I do is I make this window a little smaller so I can see both screens. And then in order to just start recording, either I hit the record button or I can even just open the window by double clicking the the top bar, okay? Now, in order to start recording, I'll do a super simple test. Basically, hit the record, I'll hit the burger, and then I'll click on, let's say, one of the links, and I might hit the burger again and click one of the links. And as you can see, Bugsang records these actions. So now I'm just going to go ahead and play and see what happens, okay? As you can see, reloads the first page, goes to the first page, and goes to the second page, right? So that's how simple we've already created our first test. And as you can see, here you can see the second page, right? The sorted lists. So that's a good start. You have modules, you have tests. We've just recorded a simple test. And next video, we'll just look a little more into the tool, just so you can navigate the tool and understand where the different areas of the tools are, so you can navigate easier.